Are you prepared to die? It's a tough question, and it might make you squirm, but death is something you need to think about to set your family up for success once you're gone. Joining us is certified death doula, Adrianna Prosser. Adrianna, thanks so much for being here. It's an important conversation. Can you first explain to people what a death doula does?
Absolutely. It's non-medical care, and I like to explain it that I'm your professional big sister that has a warm heart and an extra set of hands and knows a little bit about death and dying.
So this is a really complicated issue for families when they're going through this. There's a lot of emotion tied to it, and often they're unprepared. What do you see families struggle with when a loved one's affairs are not in order before they die?
And that's exactly it. In fact, November is Make a Will Month because over half of us in Canada do not have a will. And then that leaves all of this stress of the bureaucratic part of death on our bereaved, on our loved ones. So when we are outside of crisis, outside of that terminal diagnosis, we need to take the time to sit with our family and our friends, our inner circle, and have these hard conversations when we're not in crisis, when we're not feeling the weight of grief upon us.
So, talking about death, it's very easy to bring this up with family members, and they say, no, we don't have to, we don't have to worry about that. Or potentially the other way, the person who's involved saying, we'll worry about it down the road. What's your advice to navigate those conversations? Because it's tricky to bring up and execute.
It's true. So taking things like November is Make a Will Month or today is Grief and Bereavement Day. These are great ways to drop into a conversation. Now, I'm a death doula, so for me, I might find things under the Christmas tree like a will kit, or I'm going to drop into conversations about funeral concierge services that help you with your will, your funeral planning, your insurance, and your digital legacy. So companies like everassist.ca, or, you might give the death deck, which is actually a board game that helps you have these conversations. And it's in that nice little tiny box where it gives you prompts and it can be fun. Can death be fun? As a death doula, I think we can have these conversations with a little bit of warmth, and it will help us have these harder conversations with friends and family.
Is there a specific time of life when you should start planning for death?
Well, as soon as you're a citizen of 16, you should have a will. But again, that is my proactive death doula self. But again, any time out of crisis, because I like to take the zeros, and growing old is a privilege. So every time I hit a zero, like a 10, 20, 30, 40, I like to look at my will and do a little assessment as to, do I still know those people? Have they themselves passed on? And do a little bit of a reflection, a navel gaze, as you will. And just make sure that my family is not going to have to worry about those things, so that they have the time and space to grieve my loss instead of the frustration of the bureaucratic part of dying.
Now, quickly before you go, is there like a top 3 things people should consider right now in regards to death?
Not being afraid of saying the wrong thing, because we all get up in our heads and hearts about it. So just starting those conversations is so important. Doing a search for the funeral companies that are around you. Which ones do you align with? Check out things like the Death Deck and everassist.ca. See if they are things that can help you in your toolbox. And as well, reward yourself. Give yourself a treat, because this is some hard stuff.
Well, it's a hard conversation made a little easier because of your contributions this morning. Adrianna, thank you so much for joining us and having this chat.
Thank you so much.
If you'd like to learn more, you can also visit everassist.ca.